WWE has a major announcement. MJF might actually be out of AEW. There's so much to talk about, and we're going to talk about it right here on The Ango Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TAS. Don't forget, we got a giveaway at 100,000 subscribers. Probably should click subscribe. Let's kind of just kick things off with Kenny Omega. A lot of people have been talking about Kenny Omega, obviously, because of the health diagnosis of diverticulitis. We haven't seen Kenny Omega come back. We really haven't heard too many updates on Kenny Omega. And it's actually really unfortunate, too, because maybe you guys didn't know, Kenny Omega is literally like one of my favorites in the business. So obviously, we're looking at AEW having tremendous improvement in 2024. I love the fact that AEW has kind of looked at some of its issues and, you know, started to move and fix a lot of the things that I had an issue with, right? If you look at my criticisms and now you look at kind of what's happening, you're starting to see a little bit of momentum pick up and a little bit of changes, right? And it sucks that Kenny Omega isn't necessarily part of that on TV, considering that he's one of my favorites. Now, obviously, a lot of people have kind of been wondering what the hell is going on with Kenny. Is he coming back soon? Now, Dave Meltzer's talking that there's really not an update on him because there hasn't been made a decision yet. They haven't made a decision, I should say, on whether or not he will undergo surgery for his diverticulitis. Now, this is a very unfortunate situation, obviously, because selfishly, right, like as wrestling fans, we all want Kenny Omega to come back and be on TV and be part of this huge change that is currently happening, right? There's Will Ospreay and Okada and the Elite storyline and like all of these different things that are happening. There's actually some like really good content, and not having Kenny Omega part of that, it sucks. And selfishly, as fans of the sport and as fans of sports entertainment, whatever, we want him to be part of this, right? And then the other side of that is we want Kenny Omega to do what is best for Kenny Omega, which is heal up and come back whenever the time, you know, whenever the time allows. And I feel like that's kind of the unfortunate part with everything that's just happened here with Kenny Omega and wrestling in general, man. It's like you see these wrestlers, you love what they're doing on TV, and then to see them not be on TV anymore, to see them go through like real life stuff that isn't part of the script, it sucks. It's so unfortunate. And, you know, I just really want Kenny to get better, to be honest. I think Kenny is a really, really good part of the wrestling industry. And I think a lot of people might never give him the credit he deserves, but as an EVP and as a performer, he's really good to the industry. He is very, very kind to the industry. And the industry is better with Kenny in it. So I want Kenny to heal up, man. I want him to come back, and hopefully Kenny will be back. And I look forward to the day that he does return, because there is a massive storyline waiting for him. But again, health before wealth, my friends. That turns us to our next topic. WWE has announced the Slammies are coming back. This was a little bit of an interesting choice by the WWE because, you know, the Slammies, it's fun, but what will the Slammies actually look like with the WWE's new regime? They issued a press release today, streaming live across WWE social platforms with voting open today until Wednesday, March 27th. WWE, part of TKO, has announced the Slammies, the Fans' Choice Awards, will take place at WWE World at WrestleMania on Sunday, April 7th, and air live across WWE's YouTube channel, Facebook, X, Twitch, and TikTok. The award show will be hosted by Kathy Kelly and WWE superstar Big E. And then obviously other WWE superstars will participate as well. Basically, they're just going to be giving out awards for the best achievements, right? So probably like match of the year and maybe rookie of the year or whatever. There's going to be a lot of interesting things that, you know, I look forward to voting in this. I'm just curious to see how they actually go about doing the Slammies, right, with the Triple H regime. And obviously, it's part of social media and stuff. I look forward to this kind of stuff. The Slammies is always fun, but now it's a different regime. I look forward to just seeing how they pull this off and how they do this. And quite frankly, I'm glad that they're doing something like this. And a lot of credit has to be given to TKO. This WWE World thing that they're doing for several days under the Fanatics experience, like, I know I'm not going to WrestleMania this year, but if they're doing WWE World next year at WrestleMania 41, which is now rumored, by the way, to be in Minnesota, But if that's the case, I want to be there. I want to be there for this type of events because not only are they doing interviews in the Pat McAfee show, but now they're actually creating value in the Slammies. I just think that's really dope. And that's something I do want to see. So ultimately really cool. One thing I will say though, when it comes to the Slammies, you know, and WWE coming back right now, you could go vote and like everything's right there. WWE.com/the Slammies. I want to say it. You know, the other day we talked about how there are legends expected to be like involved WrestleMania weekend. We talked about Michelle McCool and some of the other ones that are expected there. You know, and I said in that video, I'm like, I don't really know what they would do. Maybe just some autograph signings or whatever. But if they're part of WrestleMania, it will be interesting to see how they're involved. I think it would be really cool to have the legends be involved in the Slammies, presenting awards or whatever it may be. That would be probably the best use of the legends for the weekend. So that is something I think we should take into consideration. But ultimately, I am very fond of this idea. And I just think it's really cool that even WWE is bringing it back and like kind of doing something different with it. And that brings us to our final topic of today's video. Ladies and gentlemen, MJF. On January 1st, we talked about it. MJF was removed from AEW.com. However, interestingly enough, people are now talking about MJF being removed from AEW's shop website. And when you go there, it does in fact take you to an error 404 page, page not found. So a lot of people are now speculating, hey, MJF is for sure not coming back to AEW. Now, I said this before and I will say it again because a lot of people are wondering if MJF is in AEW. Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that MJF is very secretive right now in regards to his injury. I think it's pretty obvious that MJF is not, you know, talking about this publicly. He's not come out and talked about his contract status. And you always have to go back to that promo before World's End. Like, hey, people are going to talk about my injury. People are going to talk about my contract. And really, nobody is. And it's funny because I think with AEW, they've gotten to a point where right now a lot of momentum is changing. You have Adam Cole still kind of in the loop, but it hasn't really transitioned into anything incredible. You know, maybe MJF comes back at Dynasty as a babyface and goes after the Undisputed Kingdom. I don't know. I mean, it's fairly logical, but maybe AEW should stay away from that. Look, a lot of people are speculating that MJF is going to go into WWE WrestleMania and help Cody Rhodes. And look, anything is possible. I was on here thinking that Cody Rhodes leaving AEW was a work. Don't forget that. We can't forget that. And it wasn't, right? So I don't want to sit here and say for sure that MJF's contract thing is truly a work. Maybe MJF never re-signed with the company. But what I will say is this. I will say that I believe MJF is returning to the company, and I will say that MJF is returning at AEW Dynasty, and I think his injury and stuff like that should be good by that point in time. That's my opinion. I don't have any scientific evidence or any proof. It's just me making an educated guess the way, you know, based on the way wrestling is booked and consumed and stuff. So you guys can tell me what you think down below. But yes, it is true. They have removed his merch. He's not on the website still. And that's been that way since January 1st. The merch thing is new, but he hasn't been listed. They're not talking about his injuries. They're not acknowledging him on TV. I think they're getting ready for his return.